right, everybody, welcome to the stream. We're starting 30 seconds early just because we need to get into so much market action today. I hope you guys are having an excellent time. And also, I hope you guys are enjoying and learning from the experiences of the market, because right now they're playing sneaky with all of us. By the way, did you guys see oil? Oil looking very, very nice. Series of obviously lower peaks here, and oil doesn't care about anyone else. It closed above and it continues to ramp here. So oil stocks might be doing okay today, but we've got to get into the indices because it's a little bit red, actually, surprisingly enough, coming into the market open. We'll talk about the key levels today as well. Marvin the Martian says, hit the like button. Thank you so much, Dave, as per usual. Great to have you here. Britsu, Alberilo, Russell, Rock, Finken, Johnny Bravo, Julian, and that's just the ones I can see on the screen. Thank you so much for joining us today. So let's have a look at this US 500, because this is what a lot of us are watching right now. Did you know that something crazy just started happening, and that was an actual cross of a moving average? Look at this, the 8-hour. So the daily moving average, not yet, but the 8-hour on the futures actually crossed low. We're stuck in the middle of a range. If you're looking at buying pressure here today, well, we know it should be around this flatlining 50 exponential. But someone brought up a great point, and that was when moving averages are flatlining and you're trying to pick them up, it maybe is not as good as when a moving average is, of course, rising and that pullback is short, sharp, and then it hits into that level, and then, of course, it rebounds. That's the type of one that we're looking much, much more carefully at. Let's think about this 50. So that's 44.30. on the S&P. Previous resistance, currently support. How many of you out there think the 50 exponential moving average is the key to the buy the dip? Do you guys think 50 is the right level, or do you think it's going lower? Let us know in the chat right now. What do you guys think? Let me know. Let's see what you guys think. Dion Brooks says RSI stock TA. You mean RSI the indicator, or RSI something else? And then AB says mRNA call today with the rocket ships going higher. So we've got Ted 3181 says lower. Lucian says lower. Keep bringing them, guys. We need even more people. Let's see whether people like this level or not. Jan Lupo says, I hope it breaks. At least we'll have some direction. Well, that's true. We will have some direction. But I do think that the interesting thing about this return here, well, let's just go through some key points. The first one is usually it's been like 3 or 4 days of sharp selling to get us back to the 50. Sharp selling. This has been more calculated. And why would you set a calculated sell-off? I can only think of one reason, and that is that Wall Street is selling positions into retail. It makes some sense. We know that at this point, I could not believe the FOMO that retail was feeling. I was having comment sections down below, literally, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip, buy the dip. And the dip was like 0.2%. And that's all the people were saying. Then we started seeing this pullback. And you know why I kind of consider this? It's because of what we've seen the last couple of days. Every time it pulls back in the morning after futures action, and then it sells off and it sells off, that's strange. I've got to say, that is certainly a little bit interesting. So this was one of those things where I think that the Wall Street's kind of letting it rise in the morning and often selling it off. We are almost at the 44.30 though. So if you're a bull in this market, this is the point that you're going to be wanting to watch very closely and look for reversals. Let's talk about the key zones. We'll bring them up. I think this area here is pretty key, 44.60 today. You'll notice the futures got up to that point, sold off. We've seen it be support twice. So 44.60. If you're looking at long buying, you're probably looking at something like that happening and going back up to the 44.80, 44.90. If you're looking at where the support should be found, around 44.30. And if it closes underneath this level, I believe we've got direction and the bears have won out in the market. So that basically means that the bears could be looking at a proper correction here. And generally a correction will be around that kind of 5 to 10%, but usually that 8 to 10% range. What do you guys think? 8 to 10% or 5 to 10%? What do you think is going to happen? 5 or 8? Let's also talk about dates. I think dates are something that a lot of people maybe don't estimate in their analysis. Currently, we've had the 16th of August, we saw a sell-off. We saw a sell-off, obviously, the 14th in. We saw a sell-off this time early. We saw a sell-off here, 14th. We saw a sell-off here, 17th. Again, sell-off 16th. So that mid-month seems to be the sell-off event. See the mid-month? Why? Third week is always the options expiry week. That makes perfect sense. But more importantly, when we've had those recoveries, 19th, then over here, 18th, over here, 19th, over here, 19th. So we are currently the 15th down there on the right-hand side of September. The 19th or 18th will actually be the Saturday or the Sunday. So really the Friday will be the close and then the 20th will be the Monday. So will it be selling this week and then we see the turnaround? That's actually what we've had. That's just the stats. I'm just bringing up the stats. So I quite like this idea of a little bit of further weakness into the quadruple witching event. 50 exponential, a super serious point. If we get turnaround there, I don't think you should, really neglect that. I think you've got to pay attention to buy the dip in these kind of 50 exponentials. But if it gets underneath, anything's on. We could see some serious sell-offs here. 4,300, 4,200, all of those zones could occur quite quickly. DC85 CPA says, I really want today to be the bottom, but the street knows we're keen on these levels. That's true. So to get maximum fear, I could see a short-term reversal 1 to 4 days, then a real dump next week. Okay, interesting. Interesting stuff. And yeah, I think that's certainly quite possible in terms of we could see that kind of couple of days of pullback. And then, I mean, I don't know whether 1 to 4 days of pickup would make sense from them. I guess if it hits the 50 exponential and then moves around, maybe that makes some sense. So something like this, pull up and then dump through. Either way, the 50 is going to be the key level. I like to always look at it from a price action standpoint. Have I been short? Yes, I've been short and sharp in the day trades. I think it's still a day trader's market right now. And once we get clearer direction, then we can start to look at the investment side. I believe the 50 is just it's too key. We've got to keep covering that each day. Long leg doji, you can see here the SPX decision made. That's pointing towards that weakness. So we'll find out today if it's going to continue on. That's for sure. Bradley B, $5. Thoughts on Microsoft news and its effect on the US 100? Yeah, they're sneaky. They definitely wanted to buy the dip. Hold it up and then in the AM, then sell with the market. Yeah, Microsoft obviously announcing a buyback. Really ruined the technical here, didn't it? The buyback destroys the sell-off, creates the long leg doji, and then now we've got a pre-market 303.85. It will help the US 100, so it helps the Nasdaq. It helps the market in general stabilize. It's such a big company, though. Yeah, buybacks are strange. I mean, they can affect the stock fairly quickly. You might move to like a 310. Ultimately, if the rest of the market comes down, even Microsoft's buyback will not be enough to hold it. But it is a positive indicator. Supposedly ADA has woken up. We'll check that out in a second. That's a crypto. Javier says, I see reversal at 4,500, then down again. Yes. Yeah. 4,500. So you're saying it goes back up to 4,500 and then down again. If it hits that 3 times, wow. 3 times, that would be pretty surprising. Let's just show what we're talking about here. There's the 4,500 level. This is very key. 4,490, 4,500. We've boxed it up for 2 days in a row, and then it's rejected both times. If we do get that pull up again and rejection, I think surely we are coming further down. If that happens, that's clearly full-on manipulation. If we get bang, bang, we're going to smash the 50. I really feel like that's the way it's going to happen. Microsoft raised their dividend 11%, says Scott Morgan. Yeah, look, you can't be negative in the markets. As we always say, optimism pays, but we are at a critical point. Look, if you're thinking, oh, I want to buy the dip and I want to hold for a long period of time, we've already demonstrated how statistically powerful that kind of strategy has been. I mean, if you look here, yes, we're in month 7. Yes, we've seen a lot of positivity. Maybe we've got 1 or 2 months of negative downside here, but 93% of the time, the market will come back, obviously, with a very strong gain. These are just stats, but they're pretty damn compelling, aren't they, when you look at them? So what we're really just then looking for is the best prices, and we're getting to a very good price on the US 500. We'll go into Tesla here. So Tesla's coming in 0.06 down. We're having a look at a weekly. I maintain the biggest key level for us to be watching here is a close above 740. I'd like a 750, 760 closure this week. The significance of that is really big because when you get a closure above all other closures, it triggers a buying effect. And really, Tesla still looks quite strong. If we go to the daily time frame here and we think about the actual trend line, that we've got a very strong trend line here through the higher lows. We've seen every time it's come down to this point as well, buying strength. So we've got great base, we've got great put structure. I think it's looking all right indeed. All right. If Dr. SQ is here, don't worry. I see your message. I will be back soon. Chuan I says huge Tesla puts at 720. Correct. So if we went over to Yahoo options and we scrolled up here, that's blinding me, that whiteness. Sorry, guys. And we look here at Tesla. You bring up Tesla. You look at, let's say, the September expiry, September 17th expiry. We come on down. It's not just this month. There's puts everywhere in this market, and they're kind of creating what we like to call put floors. Where are we? Tesla 720. You said so. There's 31,000 here, 84,000 open interest on the 700, and if we look forward into October, there's tons of puts sitting there. That's good because when we have a huge amount of puts, and you look at the curve in the private community, you can get access to the curve. You'll notice that it puts down this idea that the market will not want to pay out these puts. Remember, when there's tons of puts in the system, the market will not generally crash. When there is a smaller amount of puts in the system, like we've seen with the SPX recently, that's when the market tends to crash. Take a look at this chart. And if you haven't watched today's video, you'll see why it's so important. We've got the 440 where the puts and the calls kind of diverge together and become like a happy medium. But take a look at how many calls were struck off here for September from retail and Wall Street. It was a bonanza of calls opening. And that's always a good signal the market's ready to do a pullback. Look at the October calls. So many calls on 450, guys. So many calls on the SPY at 450 in comparison to the puts. If you took all of these puts together and all of these calls together, especially here, you would be saying, okay, let's get some weakness in here, guys. We'll create some bases. So 430 is going to be one of those bases, or 420. We'll push it down and we'll end up expiring at somewhere in the middle zone here to get maximum pain or maximum extraction. This is the zone that they look for. So yeah, that's so many calls sitting right there. So many calls. C-Max says, I stay hedged to the downside. Oh, fair enough. Put floors and call ceilings. Yes, that's right. Okay, let's have a look at the US 100 now. Let's bring it up. Thank you very much as well to the 750 people joining us here early morning. Remember to smash that like button, guys. It does help us out. Hit it up. It will create more viewers here, and that always is something that we do try to get. The more people that we can educate in the community to find key levels, to find key zones, and to improve their technical analysis, I think it's a really important factor. Let's think about this support. So we've got support, resistance. This is on the Nasdaq. We've also got an amazing level of support that's coming through currently, and we'll bring this up. There it is. So there's our support. 1, 2, 3. This is the futures market. 4. Who knows why, but 15,360 seems to be a very important level of purchasing. We've seen that be a volume profile. See the volume profile, lots and lots of previous resistance acting as support. We close underneath there today. Bears will control the market and expect some dumping on the Nasdaq. So that's going to be a key point that I think you'll want to have. In terms of the buy areas, 15,450, we get above that. I think it's going to try to rally back into the 15.5 zone. And then at 15.5, we hit our box. And that's where I think the sellers will come back in. So if there is an early morning rally, 15,450, movement up to the 15.5, somewhere around here, I expect selling. If we sell off, here's going to be where a little bounce occurs. If we close underneath, further selling can ensue. And it could actually fall off a cliff at that point. I could see it going down maybe 100 points or something if it gets through this previous buy zone. It's a very important area that's currently forming on the Nasdaq. Pete B says SPY opening without a gap. This is good. That is true. Every morning so far, it's opened with a gap and then filled that gap down. People want to look at Moderna. We'll have a look at that right now. Let's have a look at Moderna. You guys really keen on Moderna, actually. Surprised you like it so much. So here are my thoughts on Moderna. Current price, $432 pre-market. I like the 440 crack high. So what that means is we've got trough, we've got peak, we've got the higher trough forming if that does occur. We get the new peak and then we move quickly towards 460 would be the idea. So bang, bang, move to the 460, get through that, move to kind of those new highs. They're the two key zones, 440, 460, new highs, or at least those previous highs. The other side, some of you probably seeing it, this could be very easily a head and shoulders. 414, previous resistance, resistance becomes support. We close underneath this. I've already worked out the distance between the neckline and the head, and it equals right down here, right around that 370 area. So that's very, very fancy area zone. If the market corrects/crashes, that means the USD will go up. Technically, that is generally what does happen, and odd will go down. Yeah, odd would go down against that. That is correct. If the market went down, you would usually see odd go down, USD go up, and therefore, if you're in Australia and investing into the US, the exchange rate, if you're unhedged, can remain relatively stable. In fact, your position may not even go down as much as you think. Let's scroll over because I want to show another thing that's been showing some serious strength on it, and that is TLT. So this is the 20-year bonds. Surprising, isn't it? 20-year bonds going up. Who would have thought it? Now, what is that telling us, community? You guys have got big brains. If the 20-year bond is rising and the stock market is falling, what do we think Wall Street is doing? What do we think Wall Street is doing? Scott Morgan, $5. No need for TA on DKNG. Just want a share online sports. Want to share online sports betting rose 126% year on year. The first football weekend, average spend per user almost doubled too. So Scott Morgan loves the DKNG. Yeah, look, I think sports gambling, while it can get very dangerous for some people, is huge. And I think that also when you think about it, it's huge. I mean, in Australia, I think the average spend per person is $1,600 per year per adult. That's crazy. Now, that's across all gambling instead of pokies, but I'm not one of those statistics. So if I'm not one of those statistics, I know my wife isn't one of those statistics, then there's a good chance that there's someone out there that's just going ham on sports betting or bookies or whatever else. And it's a business that will grow in the US. Take a look at this TLT. Morning, Richard. Good to have you here. Moving its money. Absolutely, Mark. Risk off, safety, running for safety, flooding into bonds. Yeah, because they're not buying bonds because they think, oh, these are the best assets ever and what a great time to be in these assets. They're buying bonds because they're moving into safe havens. And look at this. We've got a peak, lower peak, lower peak, lower peak, lower peak, confirmation closeout. That's fairly significant. I mean, this is absolutely a great trend line down. It's broken above that. It's showing the signs of strength. And this means that we're moving towards that 155. And of course, if bonds are rising it really plays into the story that Wall Street is dumping stock into retail's purchasing. So there are a lot of these interesting synergies coming through. Chuan says, hard not to get excited by all these squeeze plays of late. News thesis is it's a retail trap. Underlying companies all suck. I don't think that's a new thesis. That is the reality. Squeeze stocks are generally squeeze stocks for a reason. The stock is being shorted because shorters or hedge funds believe the stock sucks. They basically believe that the stock doesn't have that much value and they're shorting that thing down. Now, when you're taking a look at it from that perspective, if you're owning that stock and you don't think of it as a trade and you think of it as a hodl or you're getting into it, mark my words, they're almost all pumpy dumpies. Pumpy, dumpy, be very scared, be very nimble, be very quick. Short, sharp. That's how the FX Evolution community does it. Yeah, guys, you short, sharp, not slow. Let's have a look at something that's way more interesting than even the stock market right now, and that's actually Bitcoin. We've got a fascinating Bitcoin closure here. 47.5 actually closed above for the 4 hour. Significant closure. 200 here on the 4 hour. But look at this. The 8 hour also looking to close above a long leg doji. Guys, this is the zone where Bitcoin gets exciting, and so does the rest of the crypto market, because it looks just like a Wyckoff accumulation event. We've seen these a few times, haven't we? We've had the lows, we've had the lows, we've had the spring, which is the maximum extraction, max pain theory kind of here. And then now we've moved up, we've got to that 47.5. Hopefully we consolidate, and then we move to phase E, which is that participation phase. What do you guys think about Bitcoin? You bullish or bearish in the chat? Someone said that Bitcoin shorts has moved up 27%. Yeah, but still so low. Just remember, so low. You guys bullish or bearish on Bitcoin? Another cool theory was someone sent me a thing today. If the US goes into, let's say, a full meltdown about their debt ceiling, will that be bullish for Bitcoin? What do you guys think? Here comes the bulls. Finkin 79 bullish, DVO bullish. Muhammad Al Masari says bullish, and Ed Al says that looks identical to the accumulation. Yeah, absolutely. BTC bullish, mostly bullish. And then Ed Al says ADA is just woken up. So we'll check it out there in a second. Attrition says bullish LTC. I am not bullish that one. I know you're joking with me, Trishan, but yeah, I'm not bullish the LTC. No way. Ryan Chappelle says, I love Bitcoin. And then Full in Japan says BTC depends on the Nasdaq. I don't know. I think it can kind of do its own thing. BTC is always a trap. Use caution. I don't think it's always a trap. I think that it has many good principles of a solid foundation here. And once that closure occurs here on something significant like an 8 hour, I believe it's going to scale in. Now, someone mentioned that ADA has woken up. It certainly has, from the indecision candle fest that it was in. Let's have a look at the daily here. You can see long leg doji starting to bull up, coming along with the crypto train. I think it's got a very nice kind of base here that's been forming on the 4 hour. Once this closes up, move towards $2.60, $2.55.60, close above there, and then we go back to the 280 range. We've got to remember ADA has remained out of focus now. This is Cardano for almost a week. That's a long time in the crypto world that it hasn't been popular. So yes, very nice support. It is breaking out. Long leg doji here as well, 4 hour, looking for a closure above 246, 247. And the base does seem to be in on that particular coin. Another one, Ethereum, weaker than Bitcoin here. Bitcoin rules everything, so it leads and the rest comes through. It leads and the rest comes through. I just want to make sure I got everybody. I got you, Scott, so that's fantastic. And Jason D says $4.99 DOCN. All right, let's have a look at DOCN. Digital Ocean. Been a while since we've had a look at this one. Doing better than I thought it would be. relatively new on the market. Massive rally. That was a massive close above as well. Geez, it's strong looking chart. It is a strong looking chart, but I would have your safety goggles fully attached to your face for this one. 2 hour 20 would be what I'm watching. Just be careful here. Yeah. So look for the signs of turnaround. Look for the lightning bolt. Remember, peak, trough, lower peak, lower trough. Get out or at least scale back your position. The trend is still up. The trend is your friend. Nothing has happened that's bad about the trend so far on the 2 hour, but 2 hour 20 exponential moving average seems to be the pullback zone for this one, sir. Good luck. James Gale says INTC update. Yeah, let's have a look at Intel. Intel, beautiful. Right where we want it. Let's have a look at the daily close. Yeah, so we got that daily bullish close. We moved up. We've come down. We're testing the zone. This is This is the area. Absolutely. This is where we need it to turn around. It's one of those zones where I think people should consider the scaling properties of the TA. You've got previous resistance. You've got an inverse head and shoulders. You've got a stock that no one's talking about and everyone thinks sucks. And it's closed above and then pulled back into the area. And more importantly, we've also seen a slight uptick in volume the last couple of days. Just a slight uptick, but at least it's there. So it's right on roll reversal. No, I don't hate Intel stock. I've told you guys this. I believe it's in a form of recovery at this stage. Jan Lupo will be happy out there. Chuan says PayPal launching crypto products in the UK, watching for more news of partnerships. Yeah, PayPal are ahead of Square by far. They're in UK. UK could be the new Western kind of mecca for crypto, depending on what the SEC does in America. And it's one of those really strong, places that we could be looking at. So I like it a lot. And yeah, PayPal is doing good things. Square needs to move ahead with the crypto fairly quickly. Rob C says that's why PayPal over Square at the moment. Yes. Swalbalis says, is AMC dying off or is this market wide? If we take a look at the market at the moment, it's flat. So market's flat, but AMC is falling. And a lot of that has to do with it failed the long leg doji and it failed right at our resistance. Look, we've been very good at watching this particular stock. I think we've really nailed that level. Do you guys agree in the chat? Did we nail this level? We nailed this level, guys? So Britsu says AMC is fine. It will continue to go up and down as it goes up. It will continue to float a lot. But this level was hit. Very important zone. Next support will be around that 45, I believe. Somewhere around that 45. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think there's heavy predictions here. It's not as good as when we were in that uptrend going towards 52. Now it's tougher to read it. The only reason I say 45 is that's where the daily 20 is. And then we've got that little bit of resistance and a decent volume profile coming through that level. Matt McGow says yes. Pet Brett says above 50 today. I hope so, for your sake. I don't know if it'll do it, but yeah. Right here. And that's the zone. We never changed this. Remember that, guys. We never changed our resistance. Led Zepp couldn't have said it better myself. AMC is basically algos trading algos. And Frederick says US oil. Yes, US oil is fantastic today. Really, really nice pattern here. There's the recovery. There's the series of lower peaks. Long leg doji, bullish closure. There's the first day. The second day, you're getting paid off here. On the third day, fantastic stuff. Next take profit zones could be as high as like 74 for US oil. It looks great. It really does. And then I've got a kind of target for about 77 on it. See, when I like oil, but the rest of the time I couldn't care about it. that's how I feel. It's a trader's black gold, that's for sure. Okay, let's look through some of our stocks. We're coming in here about half an hour away from the market open. It is relatively flat today. Thank you to the 1,015 viewers that are joining us for the session. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much, guys. Remember to smash that like button. It does help us out. Now, people asked about Square. Where should we take Square? Where should we think about potentially purchasing this? Square's really tough because it's made an incredibly expensive acquisition. You can see on the 2-day that the market is indecisive. You can see this trend line that we had through the other time frames, and we started seeing weakness. This is resistance. This is support. This is a long leg doji. If you wanted to buy this, I would not, even though it's here, I would not buy it right here. I would wait for it to close above this line and then take it long from a technical standpoint, education only, obviously. If it gets underneath this 50 exponential here, even though it's a 2-day and usually people don't use this chart, then I think go back down to the 230 or even potentially back down to the 220, 200. So it'll either be 230, 220, or 200, I feel. So underneath, big sell-off could happen on Square, and I'll be interested at these zones, but I am not particularly interested here. I want a closure above that, and that will be about 254. 254. Ideally, that would be the zone. Rob C says, take a look at the VIX. Recent uptrend, quite bearish compared to the summer, etc. All right, let's have a look at the VIX. It's the volatility index. Some people are drawing giant lines here. I'll show you the line that people draw. So that's the general gist. I don't particularly want to use this line, but some people do have this. I think the VIX is doing well. We were quick to call down here that there was certainly a lot of upside potential on the VIX, as in every time it got underneath that 16. Coming into September, volatile month, regardless of whether it goes down or not. And you got a VIX underneath 16, going up to 20 was pretty good. I wouldn't want to call it anymore. I wouldn't want to make a huge decision on what I think the VIX is going to do. It doesn't have much clear presence. We do know that if we get through the 50 exponential moving average, the VIX will spike heavily. I feel like the VIX will actually get to like a 24, 25 very quickly. So 50 exponential moving average, we close underneath that, the VIX will go ballistic. You watch it go. I bet you it just starts ramping, guys, because the fear will really come in. The algos will go crazy. I can't tell you how important that 50 is for the market right now. And if you're not sure what it is, I'll show you it. The daily, the 50, there it is, the blue line here. If it gets underneath here, you watch that VIX spike. It'll go nuts. It could happen today. I don't think it will, but it could happen today. Josh Screever says, I own my own business and I will never use PayPal. I understand why. I've used PayPal. I do understand why. They are pains. Josh Screever says they're way too high compared to PayPal. Yes, they are, but they do have some very convincing they've got some good movements that they're doing in the market in terms of just the crypto space and their general speed. The problem with Square is they take a long time to implement. So I'm going to wait for them to hopefully implement very, very soon. Let's have a look at PayPal. So yesterday we talked about this being a good support zone. It actually held up considering the market did fall off. I still like the zone. Got previous resistance. You're testing that as support. Did have a lot of bearishness coming into it. This zone here, it has to hold. I'm looking for signs of life here from PayPal to add to potential positions if that's what you're wanting to do. Steve Burke, $5 Canadian. Moderna, a head and shoulders of W's. What does that tell us when we have multiple TA formation? I think with Moderna, I agree what you're saying. So if we have a look back over this stock again, there's your W, which is your double bottom. There it is there. That's already pretty much completed. So you're past that one. Then the head and shoulders that we're discussing is more like a 2-hour pattern, which is here. Head and Shoulders is useless unless it actually closes underneath here. So I wouldn't consider it as, I would know it's there, but I wouldn't trade that unless it closes underneath, and then you could look to short Moderna back into the 360. But if it closed above this zone, why wouldn't you take it long? It's completely destroying the Head and Shoulders trade. Then it just looks like another break or breach of a key resistance, so it can move towards the next resistance. Nothing to be taken out of that, Steve, at all. CMAX says we use Square at our shop and have for years. Works well, invoicing, and it is a great product. I do love the Square product. I just don't particularly love the price for Afterpay. I want to see more implementation. Let's get that implementation. Can you take a look at gold, please? Certainly can. Let's have a look at gold for you. Oh, it's breaking low here. Must say I'm a bit surprised. So we're looking for this. I did like it. Let's have a look here. Daily. Yeah, I liked it for a scale, actually. So this was a decent little partial scale. Now, what I mean by partial scale is you might put maybe only a third of your order on at these kind of levels, because you've got rejection wick, rejection wick, rejection wick, closure above. That's a good first scale zone. It's coming down here. I can't really tell you why it's going that low. This is where it needs to turn if it's going to turn. It's been weakening all day. So lots of little trade, and then suddenly it's gone high. Let's have a look at the dollar index. Dollar index bulling, that could be pushing it down. Yeah, I'm not really too concerned for gold. It's been very manipulated recently. So I want to see 1810, 1815 plus. So 1810, we can keep going long, but I'm not concerned about it at this stage. If it gets underneath here, well, then of course it'll take out everyone's stops and keep going shorter. Right at roll reversal at this stage. I would not buy it there though. Too scary. CMAX says, without the buyback news, Microsoft would have dumped. I agree. It did look very, very strong to the weak side. And then Safe Insane says, Moderna 2021 reminds me of Tesla 2020. Which part of Tesla 2020? Are we talking about the good part of Tesla 2020 or the bad part where it goes too high and then starts selling off and then has a terrible next year? Safe Insane. Yeah, I would not buy here, but I did like it this morning from the closure for a scale, and I guess I'll maintain that. US oil is the stronger trade, but we knew that already. Let's go through some more stocks. Okay, Apple. Going to test, where's it opening up? 148.42. So we have below here all the supports turning into resistance. So this is the 148.70 zone. Such a great zone. 148.70, we've got support, acting as resistance. This is going to be a great level for traders to watch this morning and see how it interacts. Because let me get out a little box for you guys. Apple, bam, there it is. Look at that. Support, becomes resistance. Fantastic level for the bears to start looking towards the short side. And obviously you push back through that, then you're talking about a great trade towards the upside here, the 150.55. Microsoft in Mars pumping stock using buybacks. Yes. Mountain Fortress says Apple is still a cheap stock, so I wouldn't be bearish. You don't want to be bearish long term. No, we're talking about just trades. I agree. Selling against Apple is really bad. Kevin N says that Apple event sucked. I don't know what you expected, Kevin. It's a transitionary year. As we said yesterday, there will be no good iPhones. It'll be like 120 hertz. That's about it. They'll make a couple of little things and they'll call it the best thing since sliced bread. And then next year we'll get the proper iPhone. Transition year. Ryan Haygood says, can Intel change trend today? I quite like Intel. I did that one a little while ago, Ryan. You can check that one out. Intel is good. It's just pulled back to the neckline and the area that we have boxed up. If you go to the daily, you'll see very clearly this resistance zone, the breakout closed above, and the pullback back to the area. So we're starting to look for strength coming back into Intel here. Let's look at spot. Not much to really note here from spot. Pulled back to our favorite area. Bulled up, no follow through, so nothing much. Netflix coming down to an important zone. 20 moving average here on the daily. Had that nice breakout. If you're interested in Netflix, it's pretty much in your box between the resistances here. So you're looking for turnaround action coming in from Netflix. Not bad. Play, meh. Get rid of that. NVAX stock is coming down underneath our trend line now. I still like it, but it's very risky. Obviously, it's all about the European Union approving it. PLTR looks pretty good. PLTR bounced twice off 25. They were strong buy zones, 27.30, and I've always got my alert above that 27.30 just in case we break it. Because so many people, do you know how many people are going to get hyped if PLTR breaks through this one, guys? That's going to be the hype zone. The hype zone will come in. John Moore says Apple is transitioning. Mountain Fortress says that student iPad is only $200, which is cheap for Apple. That's true. And then Mr. Murray says, I'll probably pick up the iPad mini looking to replace my G1. I quite like that. And Apple transition, Tim Cook transitioned me to switch to Samsung. Good comment, bro. That's pretty good. Yeah. PLTR, this level is fantastic, isn't it? 27.30, I'll be watching. Futu could be an inverse head and shoulders in the making. Don't want to predict that yet, though. Waiting for that 117 breakout. Otherwise, not very interested in this stock. Zoom, let's go over to Zoom. So Zoom has not closed above our 300. We were excited for that for the week ahead. And we're back down to the support here. So unfortunately, even with increased volume on it, with nothing much we can do with Zoom. We'll have to come back in the future. Twitter continues to look like a really terrible chart. I see something like $56 happening from Twitter. What do you guys think? Anyone like this Twitter chart? Looks pretty bad. Closed underneath the support. It looks kind of nasty. 56. Put a little line there. We'll come back and revisit you, Twitter. ONCT. Nothing yet. 10 cents going to have a really bad day. Look at that day. Oh, it's so nasty. These Chinese stocks, I tell you, when you always think about it, the risk on these Chinese stocks is just so extreme. This is a great trade. If this was an American stock, it would be long and it would hit this level and it would be beautiful. Great range, beautiful accumulation, great breakout, and then it just fails. So, yeah, that's what happens. I mean, I haven't been buying Chinese stocks because I did that one barber trade and it burnt me. And I went, no more. I will not buy these stocks until I get some good information. Because once they start, they don't stop and it takes quite a lot of time. AF Alum says, Americans are tired of the buyback scams. Yeah, well, the banks certainly did that for quite a while. Rogue Angel says, shorting Tesla and Amazon on any pops. Ooh, shorting against Tesla. I'm surprised, honestly, shorting the Tesla, but I get it. Like, if you look at it on paper, you might think it's expensive. Zillow, another one I'm watching. Base forming 100, 101. Obviously looking for a break of that resistance. Let's have a look at some other stocks. Cat, wow. See, so many of these stocks in the market look weak, guys. And this is why I'm saying be short, sharp, and sweet at the moment. Look at this Cat chart. Only a few weeks ago, things were looking better here. And now it's superiorly weakening. This is not boding well for the market. I mean, you can really tell. Let me have a look at Deere. I haven't looked at Deere in a while. Weakness coming through on John Deere too. What about what was another one? What about Costco? Okay, so that's still on a massive ramp. Geez, that's a crazy chart. What were some other stocks that I remember that were a little bit crazy? There was another one, guys. Give me some stocks that have really started taking dives. I mean, I know Visa's taken a dive recently. Some older companies that's taken a dive. Look at that trend line for Visa. Bang, bang, bang. Breaks below, retest, bang, straight back down. There's so many negative looking stocks. So many negative looking stocks. UPST. This one just kept going. Not dead yet on UPST. Triple M. I think 3M has. Oh, okay. 3M has come down considerably. That's actually at support. That's pretty good support. Yeah, so much weakening stuff. SPCE. I haven't checked that one in a while. Let's check out Virgin Galactic. SPCE. I don't want to say I told you so, but that guy that was hammering me, you have to eat your own hat, sir. That was the bet. Okay. You got to eat your own hat because you said that space stocks were going to the moon. And unless the moon is in the dirt, then you were wrong. Look at it. Remember that guy, guys? I don't know if he's still around. He's got to put his hand up if he's still around. Up here, we challenged each other. I said that space would get demolished. And he said, no, it's going long. And it got demolished. Yeah, we do not like this stock. It's pumpy dumpy. Ed Al says space landed in the wrong spot and got fined. Yeah, let's have a look at Boeing. Boeing just on support, but that trend line it didn't really hold up, did it? Weekly closed just below, retested. Ooh, a critical time for the Boeing stock. And then Mariko Acosta says SPC will run later this year. It'll probably turn around. It'll have runs on it, but yeah. Depends on the time frame. What, like 5 years? How long do we need, Led? How long do we need? Oh, did I get a case of beer? Was someone meant to give me a case of beer, Polana? I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't remember. Let's have a look at Amazon. So Amazon still showing some signs of weakness. We'll get rid of this trend line. We don't need that anymore. So we're looking for it to go back down to 3,400. I quite like Amazon for the end of the year trade. I know it's one of the least performing FANG stocks. I just tend to feel like it's maybe undervalued actually as one of these stocks. It could come down here a little bit. I think, there are some really big competitors, things like SE is going to be a big competitor, but they burn cash like it's out of fashion. So Amazon could very easily be one of the better performing stocks in the next couple of quarters. What do you guys think about Amazon? No more performance, or do you think it's a bit of a hidden gem? Go to Google. I like Google as a stock. However, another one that could be weakening here. 20 moving average closes below, very easily could get to the 50. That's 2750. Or maybe even further on that. End phase, let's take a look at this. Still hovering around the point of no return, so we can't really touch that. Microsoft buyback announcement. Look, it might rise for a little while, but we know it's all manipulated. There's no point really looking at it. ARK still Keynes declining there. ARKG back down to support, starting to get a bit more value town. Beam, unfortunate that it's this low. Beam, I think around $100 is okay. The actual company has very little cash holdings though, which is a bit of a concern for them. They might have to do a cap raise. Edit also finding weakness here. All our favorite biotech companies really consolidating. CRISPR continues to consolidate, coming back down to the support. Be careful on this. Remember, when I talk about these biotechs, I'm talking long-term investments, much less trade style. And you don't want to buy one of them. You want to buy a lot because they're very, very risky. SPLK, still at support. Big inverse head and shoulders, still being shown there. Not bad. Mountain Fortress says Amazon and Google are just behemoths, biggest internet entities. So good investment in the long term. Yes. Mr. Murray says cap raise on Beam would be welcomed. Wouldn't be welcomed if you're already in the stock. But yes, it will be welcome to bring the stock back down. Absolutely. Finken79 says Amazon is currently unstoppable. The only thing that can stop Amazon is most likely the government. I really feel like they're very, very strong. Look at this. Another weakness here in TDOC. All the way back down to 133. Wow. I don't want to touch this thing with a 10-foot barge pole unless it's up this 147 plus. That's just terrible. Barber down again. Oh, look at it. Shocking. Baidu. I mean, can't say we didn't warn you guys about these. These Barber and Baidu especially. You know, we're not bullish these right now. No. Twilio. There was only one time we were bullish Barber. I just want to repeat this again. The only time I liked the Barbers was, if I remember rightly, right around here. And the reason why is because we did see the signs of recovery. And I'd do it again too. I'll say that. I would do it again. I really liked that close candle. And then the government got involved and killed it. But yeah, I like that close candle. It's a solid recovery. We've got trend line down, buy above, double bottom, closure above. Love that trade. I love it, guys, but it just didn't work out. That's okay. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Twilio, you got to show the good and the bad. Still support, nothing much. NVIDIA, just consolidation central. Pins, still not above this 58. We have to come back to it. Roku, weakness still here in the stock. Nothing you can do. Etsy consolidating in a nice zone. If you like Etsy, just looking for a 220 plus breakout. That would be nice. You know, there's so many stocks here that are looking kind of weak. KK says Barber burned me. Yeah, Barber was nasty. Monica Nakamura says Barber burned me too. Yeah, I can see why. It's all about having the stop losses. I took it as a trade and yeah, a little bit burny. Big Dipper asked about Shop. Let's have a look at Shop for you. We're about 8 minutes off the open. Thank you very much to the 1,125 viewers joining us this morning. Appreciate all you guys. Shop starting to weaken as well. Big support through this 1428. Close below could bring some real selling. I mean, ooh, where'd I go? It could bring some real selling. Where are we? Shop. No. There we go. Here is the next zone for it. 1,300. 1,300 solid though. Closure below. Bam, 1,300. Resistance. And that flag consolidation we got earlier in the year. That was a fantastic trade. I remember that one. Yeah. DKNG pulled back to the 20 now. This is where we need it to turn around. I think there are plenty of reasons why this could go long, as we saw before. Airbnb continues to be okay for buys. Hovered around this area here and then started to purchase back up. Big double bottom here, or big channel. We're looking for a 180 on Airbnb. INTC, I still like it. I think that was a significant little closure that happened here, and I hope it can follow through. Inverse head and shoulders. Spot. Now, we did that before. We've done all those ones. Let's have a look here. What about Disney? Disney did not close above this 187. So no buys on Disney, unfortunately. If you're looking at purchasing it, I would probably look around that 180 and make your own decisions if possible. So yeah, plenty of stocks we've gone through there. Let's go to the community. What do you guys want to see? Bradley Back wants SE, and then Critical Thinking wants Beyond. Let's take a look at Beyond Meat. I haven't looked at that one since back here. Britsu says he journals all his stuff in Google Sheet. You should journal your trades. It is a massive help out. I don't think this company has a moat, and I've mentioned that several times. It's too easy to start these companies. They do not have strong moats. It's all branding. Beyond Meat really looks sick. Back down to like 100, I feel, for this stock, unfortunately. And we'll do SE. I like this stock. I don't know if I could buy it right here anymore. I will not add at this level. No, no, no. Not with a capital raise. I know the capital raise is done. I want 300 bucks. Previous resistance. I want it back down there. It may not happen. It's hit the 20 and it's bouncing. But yeah, that's what I would like. You said 2 hour. Makes sense. Close above here. There could be a trade there to the 350. Not a huge fan. Game stocks getting crushed. Yep. Probably a bit of sugar rush coming off those. And then Tugs, Billy Gunn, Tamir says AMD, Nvidia, and QQQ. CMAX says I love AXP. Let's have a look at AXP, American Express Company. Daily. Don't quite see a buy there. I mostly see weakness, kind of like the rest of the market right now. Probably more buy zone, about 150, I guess, for that one. Let's look at AMD. AMD is not too bad. So it's come down to the support at 102, come down again, long leg doji. If you get follow through on that today, could be a nice little buy there, couldn't it, for a day trade or so? What's that? At 107. 107, 20 moving average. Close above that, significant time frame. Move back into that 110, 111 area. Not bad. Not bad. AMD, we'll put it back on the ticker. Big Dipper says ZOM. Let's have a look at ZOM. Really weak considering the oil price. Incredibly disappointing stock. I'm incredibly disappointed by this stock. I haven't traded it in a while. I do not like this. I don't know why it's so hideous. I mean, maybe it's the balance sheet. I haven't looked at it. A lot of oil stocks underperforming oil the futures. Yeah, this is just breakout past 56.50. You can look for it into the 59. It has a lot of debt. Yeah. Balance sheet's not great. Low Yelang says pen, please. All right, we can do pen. The ASX company, 30 cents. Great breakout. Fantastic to be above the 28. Next take profit around 38. Looks like it's running. There's nothing wrong with it. This is a Ulrich stock. He's done well on that. He's been picking it up down here. One of our good donators here on the stream. Thank you very much, Ulrich. 38 cents, I think, is good. So we've got 2 minutes here. So let's get into the market before it happens. Let's have a look. We'll watch up the Tesla. We'll check the Tesla out. We've got the US 500, obviously sitting pretty much as flat as a tack. And we've got the QQQ. Guys, you can see the key levels. It does not show. Look at that. Look how good these levels are, guys. So we've got 374 as the key support here on the QQQ. I love that support. I love this resistance. And I love the story of the selling and the buying in between. So we close underneath here. Expect some serious pressure from the bears. 374.28. Fantastic area. And then 378.44. Expect that to be the full fight between the bears and the bulls. You close above here. It's back onto game town for the buy side. And you sell off from here. Obviously, we expect it to come back down to 374. It's going to open 375.73, it looks like. Wow, what a fantastic little range there on the QQQ. It looks beautiful, actually. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to bring it over to full screen. I love that. So here we go. Ding, ding, ding. We've opened up at 375.86. So slight gap up here from the previous close. 0.07 on the S&P. So very, very slow here in the morning. And then we have Tesla opening at 0.0. We'll watch Apple as well. So 0.43 up in Apple. Let's go to a 15-minute chart. Apple, we need to watch this on this time frame. It's in our little box. Let's see how it reacts in the first couple of minutes of trades here. Market incredibly subdued here on the Wednesday ahead of what is going to be the witching event. Silver Liner says, Green Day, wake me up when September ends. And Chronically Sam, ding, ding, ding. Absolutely. Sydney Morning Herald article, USA and odds meeting tomorrow is urgent. I don't know what that means, but maybe I'll check it out after. Let's do a poll today, red or green. Yeah, we can probably do a poll. I think I can create polls in here, actually. Let me just see if I can do it for you guys. How do I do the poll? Let me see here. No idea. Guys, just put it in the chat and we'll get the poll out soon. If I was guessing, I would think, based on the previous days, probably red. But a lot of it's got to do with getting through the 374 here on the NAS. I really like the NAS support. That's a great support. So if it gets underneath there, should be quite weak. Let's see what the chat says. Dim Sum says red, bright red. Full in Japan says red. C-Max says the flat tire rally. So most of you guys are red. Well, either you're all big brain here in the stream, or it's going to go green because we're all going to be wrong. That's how it happens, yeah? Red at the end, red, red, red. Wow. So it's selling here early in the morning. It's filled the gap just then. So we've just filled gap. Apple selling off the zone we talked about. Oh, okay. So it says several federal cabinet ministers were called into a top secret meeting in Canberra on Wednesday ahead of a major international development expected out of the United States on Thursday morning. Huh. Okay. Is that just random? Who knows? That's supposedly the news story. I don't particularly know what they're going to be talking about. Oh, okay. Is that what it is, Simon? Biker Dude says, my gut keeps telling me to short everything and I'm wrong every time. Biker Dude, if you're going to short, you've got to be very quick. Because remember, the market is a bullish beast. It is not a bearish animal. The bears only come out for the salmon in a little while. You know, if Microsoft didn't have its buyback, the whole market would be down right now. You can really see that 1.5% it may only look like one ticker's up, but that ticker means a lot of movement. Continued weakness here through the Chinese stocks, continued weakness through a bunch of these positions. Look at it, it's mostly red. Let's bring up the Webull scanner here. Do the percentage change. So we've got Pioneer, BioNTech, Microsoft, DoorDash, Adobe as some of the greens. CrowdStrike still trading around that 260. It's a bit expensive there. That's why we don't look at it. Then we've got Alibaba on the bad side. We've got Nikes or Nike, as I call it, Airbnb, Baidu, Snowflake, all down around 1%. So it's a bit of a downer morning here. I think key levels to watch today would be 374. What is this? 28. I think futures is where the market, I mean, not futures, the indices is where the market action's at. These are the ones we should be watching. This is the time for really bringing in your analysis, looking at the indices and making better informed decisions about that. Watch the 4430 as well on the S&P 500. That's going to be the daily 50 moving average. Remember, the daily 50 has been the current reversal zone several times in the market. But this is the first time when we're pulling back that we've seen a consistent amount of red days in. Usually it's been 1, 2, 3, bang. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, bang. This is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Many, many days down. Keep watching those zones, guys. Tom, can you share the bullish case for Beam, please? Not the TA case. Yeah, I mean, I must admit a bit of the Beam case has been brought to me by some very smart people in the community. The CRISPR technology that they have, which the problem with understanding this crazy biotech stuff is that you need to be almost like a slight genius to figure out why it's better. But some people have come in, they've shown me it. There's some great videos. I will share them with you, Scott Morgan. You send me a Discord thing and I will share them with you because they will explain it better than I can. But I'm a big fan of this idea of, even though you might disagree with it, take that out of the consideration for a second. The genetic resequencing could be a very profitable game in the future. So just message me and I'll get it for you tomorrow. JVS says, I don't get why Barber is 50% down from a max when it's considered undervalued at that point. So it's undervalued by US stock standards. This is the biggest issue with markets that people don't understand. Markets are there's only one most important thing about markets. Can anyone in the chat tell me? Can any of you guys tell me what the most important factor in the markets is? What do you think derives market price? There's one word that is the most important word in markets. Let's see if anyone gets it. Everyone talking about uranium miners. You guys love uranium. We loved uranium like 2 weeks ago. All right. I don't think anyone's going to get it. Alberlo kind of has it. A few people have sentiment. Yeah. So confidence. Confidence is the key I was looking for, or sentiment's fine. Yeah, absolutely. Price is directly correlated with how happy and how excited and how absolutely fantastic everybody feels about a market. If everyone feels fantastic, like the dot-com bubble, we see what can happen. Right now, people are on cloud nine to a degree, which makes it a risky investment market. Not a trade market necessarily, but an investment market. Now, there's plenty of great companies, and I don't think the market's as overpriced as some people may think. Some stocks are, no doubt, but maybe not overall. But that's why Barber's down so much, because confidence or sentiment is shot. When you get governments involved in things, it's like saying if Biden came in and went at Apple and said, hey, you pay 40% tax. I don't want you to have any money overseas. And guess what? We're going to put extra tax on you just for fun. And you've got to split your company in 3 different areas. Yeah, what do you think would happen? The share price would tank. It would get destroyed. Yeah, VIX is up to 20.14. Expect if we get through some of these key levels, especially the 50 exponential moving average, for the VIX to go wild. The VIX could go wild at that point. I'm thinking like a 24, 25 quite easily. Tesla is weak. I think Tesla's holding up relatively okay, considering the rest of the market right now is going down 1%, 2%. I think Tesla's holding okay. Just quickly watching here. I want to watch this QQQ level. So here it is, 374.40 QQQ level. Little Apple scalpers shorting this area would be pretty happy with themselves. BTC USD shorts is pumping. We'll take a look at that in a second. We'll bring it up on this chart. BTC shorts. Oh, look at them. Nasty whales. Let's take a look at the daily. It certainly is pumping. Still very low though. A lot of it's pumping because they just closed above 37.5. So short levels will be at 37.5 plus. All these shorts will be coming in now. That's the nature. So what you expect is if the whales do want to push it down, is you're going to see this really explode. And I bet it'll go crazy. And BTC will go up at the same time. Tesla only down 0.33% now. QQQ just hit support. Very key zone for it. Ooh, I'm excited to see what happens. James Gale says, I thought it was super significant, and then you zoomed out on the BTC shorts. Yeah. Remember, top-down approach, my man. You've got to look at all of it. Remember, guys, weekly into daily, into 4 hour, into 2 hour, into your 15-minute time frame. Never discount the top-down approach that we talk about on this channel. By the way, guys, thank you for all the likes today. Appreciate the donations, and also thanks for the viewership as per normal. So market is returning back down. Again, S&P 500, 44.30 will be the key point to watch. And QQQ, a close underneath 374 could certainly be very negative towards the market. That's fairly important if it closes underneath this zone. Finken79 says, yes, always start at the weekly. Sometimes you can start at the daily too. And then Hassan says, Tom, oil, please. I like oil. I think it's looking pretty damn good. So my oil targets are 74. And then because I believe it's a bit of an inverse head and shoulders, actually the peak. So I'm looking for this thing to get back to around 70, just underneath 74. 70, what is this? 360. Hopefully it can do it. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. Thank you very, very much. Good luck today. Be careful out there. Nasty Wall Street pressuring this market down early here in the session. Remember the 50. Remember the close under here. And then I think if you're going to take these kind of zones, just remember you could get it wrong here, and it might be the one that breaks the camel's back. Might be worthwhile saving some powder back here, or at least if you're looking at getting into more, waiting for that turnaround story, because this is a little bit different to every other time. It's not coming down in 3 candles. It's coming down in 7 to 8. More considered, more likely that Wall Street is dumping stocks to us, the retail traders. VIX currently 20.18. Watch the 50, watch this zone, and of course, always have a plan for your favorite stocks if they come back. Thanks so much, guys. Good luck out there, and good luck to the crypto fam. Look at that BTC strong. Even though the shorts is going up, expect that to be the market of choice. This is the good market today. I like the BTC. Let's go, baby. All right. Catch you guys. Bye for now.